Hotep, Black Power, your brother Shaka Sankofa. As always, giving honor to the Creator, giving honor to the ancestors, giving honor to my sister, who's in her organic state right now, traveling on the ancestral realm, along with our Chief of Staff, Brother Harris Abdul, my father, and all my relatives who are in the ancestral realm, all the brothers and sisters and all our ancestors who gave their lives in the Middle Passage, and to all you brothers and sisters out there that are still on this plane existing, fighting for the liberation and salvation of our black nation today. As always, I do my roll call. You know, it's time for that. I missed a week, so y'all can forgive me. And I'm not going to mention everybody, every single subscriber. You know, I'll just try to do it randomly based on the consumption of time. So, you know, if you bear with me, we can go ahead. I'm going to, show my appreciation to the people that take their time to subscribe to me, to listen to some true information, some powerful information. You know, my subscriber list is beginning to grow stronger, and I'm not going to forget any of you. We're always going to remain in constant contact so we can grow together, you know, as a community, as a family, and as a community. So at this time, I'm just going to give some shout outs and some hoteps and black powers and whatever you may want to call it to, some of the people that are in my circle and subscribers as well, you know. So let's get it going, you know. Eugene Smith, you know, Ellen Johnson, Second Raw, Big J, No Way Jose, Zakia 31, Cupcakes, Jiggy Main, Sister Chess, Cushite Prince, Shane Machiavelli over in the UK chairman, you know, Black Power to the people over in the United Kingdom, Paul Martin, Johnny Selvey, MK Ajimaj, Anytime Nigga, my man, Sam Bam 1314. Also for, you know, all my brothers and sisters, all the young guards that are graduating this year, class of 2017. You know, special shout outs to my niece and nephew, Taylor Carter Nook. You know, her prom is Friday. She wants us to be there when she steps out, you know, all gorgeous. My nephew Donnell's graduating from Howard this next month. And also my brothers and sisters, my nieces and nephews, and the people in my circle. Faison Bay, always I never forget my mother, Edith Tillman. Faison Bay, Brother Mark, Brother Rob, Ali Bay, DeAndre, Ola Jerome, Shay Rhinefest Smith, Duck Burgess, and the Burgess family. Willie Harden and the Harden family. People at the Glut, Jaja, Kia, Joel, Brandon, Jahid, Ajay, Maldisa, and anybody that, as always, my queen and singer, Sankofa, you know, all the brothers and sisters that's out there in the streets, all my brothers and sisters that are caught in the struggle, all my brothers and sisters, Hotep and Black Power, that are behind enemy lines in these concentration camps that we call jails and prisons. All my brothers and sisters, you know, that are marching strong, the freedom fighters, the liberators, those who came before me and those who will come after me. You know, those who laid the foundations down. Khalid Muhammad, Steve Coakley, Amos Wilson, Charles Finch, Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, Harriet Tubman, Malcolm, Martin, Medgar, Sojourner, Huey, Bobby, Fred, Mark, King, Tupac, any Fannie Lou Hamer, Asar, Set, Heru, any of the brothers and sisters that I may have not mentioned. Just keep on hanging in there to the struggle. That we may come together one day. Peace to all the black gods, that are standing tall. You dig what I'm saying? That are being good fathers. All the queens that are being good mothers. All my young brothers and sisters that are, in these group homes, in these shelter houses, that are going through the chain of command under Child Family Services, that we're doing our best to try to get you all, into some safe environments and some strong parents. So, enough of that, and now, I'm about to get into our subject matter. First thing I want to talk about is this tragedy that took place in New Orleans with this new rapper that just came on the scene that was just signed by Birdman, BTY Youngn, who was murdered, found dead under a gas pump at a Shell station in New Orleans. And although he had some type of criminal history, criminal background, 27 years old with a 6-week-old baby that he's left behind. And, it's very controversial, although Birdman made a statement that, once you sign these big deals and, come across these large sums of money and become, overnight sensation, so to speak, that, sometimes it's more safer, to leave the, the belly of the beast, leave the bowels of the hood, and I'm beginning to understand that concept, because I used to always look at the fact where if someone makes it big and they leave the hood, that they're sellouts. Not understanding that if you leave the hood, you can still come back to the hood and put the same type of work in. You just don't have to, physically dwell in the hoods no longer if you choose not to do so. Some of us can remain in the hood without anything happening, any type of tragedies or situations taking place, but most people have to flee, but have to leave the area based on the fact, because it doesn't make sense for you to be a have and to live among the have-nots. And and it would just be foolish to give all your wealth away and you not have anything, just to prove that you keeping it real. When you can, when you can leave the hood and come back, create programs, build rec centers and things of that nature, depending on, how long your money is, how much you have, how much wealth you have, accumulated or have amassed. So, I have seen some previous videos where he was in the streets of New Orleans, with about 50 or 60 stacks, just sitting in the street, throwing the money in the air, and, you can't dangle a pork chop in front of a tiger. At some point, he's going to make an attempt to get that pork chop and possibly the hand that's holding it, that's dangling the pork chop. So, my heart goes out to the family of this brother based on the fact that, a six-week-old baby. This infant didn't get a chance to know his or her father and has to rely on others to get a history about his or her father, which is very, very sad, because no one can tell it. No one can tell themselves like themselves. So it's a heartbreaking situation, and a lot of people were saying, don't bring the criminal record up. And I got an issue with that as well. And I heard Willie D speak on that as well, about that criminal record piece, because sometimes it's good to bring the criminal record up in certain cases. It has to be a case-by-case basis, because in his case, he was someone who was involved in a lot of criminal activity and criminal behavior, but managed to rise above that, and was on his way to stardom and on his way to become an example that you can rise above your conditions. So in situations like that, I believe that the criminal past doesn't have to be in detail, can be helpful and inspirational to some people that are, struggling and still trying to rise above their situations. So, once again, may the young God, rest in power, and that the ancestors, may embrace him and accept him. In the Milwaukee County Jail, which is under Sheriff David Clark, who is about the most vicious black coon on the planet, there have been some mysterious deaths in his jail. Specifically, this recent death where this brother, 38-year-old Terrell Thomas, was in solitary confinement. And his 8th day in solitary confinement, he was found laying on the ground. And I say the ground in his cell because in solitary confinement, most of those cells are made of concrete. There's no floors, no tile or anything like that. And then it's a hole in the floor where you have to squat down to relieve yourself and defecate. And they flush that hole, whenever they feel like it, which is every 3 or 4 days. However, he was there for 8 days, found dead on the floor, and based on what the other inmates were saying, that he was pleading for water, and they had shut the water valves off in his cell as a form of punishment. So based on the coroner's report and the medical examiners, he hadn't had any water in 7 days. In a whole week, he hasn't had any type of fluids. He had lost 35 pounds within those 8 days. And the cause of death was, I believe it was, they call it profound dehydration. And now it's been labeled as a homicide. And so prosecutors are looking into this. Now, this is not the only mysterious death within the last year that has taken place in this coon's jail under his watch. It's been like 6 or 7. He makes this, he does this press conference and supposed to be in this hell of a rage, trying to justify taking this brother's life. Talking about, isn't this the guy that, was involved in a shooting or something like that. Some shit he told the API, Associated Press, which has nothing to do with the fact that this was intentional. This was intentional manslaughter and murder of this brother. And this the same. For those who don't know who I'm talking about, Sheriff David Clark is the motherfucking, this slave coon, this black piece of crutball, shitty motherfucking punk ass nigga that said that Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, all of them, the reason they were murdered, it was their fault. That all the officers in every single case where a black man was murdered was the fault of the black man. Just to give you, a hint of what type of motherfucking nigga this is. I seriously hate this motherfucking nigga. I hate this nigga. And he's the toilet paper. He's Donald Trump's toilet paper. Donald Trump wipes his ass with Sheriff David Clark. And he enjoys it. This motherfucker wants to be white so bad, it's killing him. In which I hope somebody else kills him. I really do. I really do. Now, yesterday, the white devil cop that shot and killed Walter Scott at a traffic intersection just for running pled guilty to the murder, stating that he had no reason. He wasn't in danger. He had no reason. He said it was unreasonable as to why he shot and killed Walter Scott. So the charge, he pled guilty to avoid a trial, and this manslaughter charge carries a maximum of 25 years. Now, if you remember, I allowed you to hear a recording of Walter Scott's mother when she hollered at, once her son was murdered, when Walter Scott was first murdered, she was hollering all this joy bullshit, and, all this sick shit. And I'll just tell you, nothing has changed much since. So, when they asked her about the decision of him pleading guilty, she said that by him just admitting it was enough years for her. That it doesn't matter if he does any time now or not. And once again, like I always tell you, this is the mindset that they have our people in. This is the mindset that they have us in. It's not a whole lot to it. Some of our people are under the hypnosis of racism, white supremacy. Just like someone told me, about Tommy Sotomayor had, he was dating a white woman, and, it was some pictures of him kissing the white woman. And he said that he never laughed like that in his life when he was on the date with this white bitch, with this cave bitch. And shit like that doesn't infuriate me anymore. Not with him anyway, because I know that, he's just as a miserable motherfucking nigga who does a lot of shit to aggravate and fuck with the minds of the real fucking soldiers and G's. So don't fall for that shit. Because at some point he'll get his wake up call too. And he's just one of those niggas that has been fucked over and played by a sister, and he hasn't gotten over that shit yet. So he figures that if he just destroys or condemns all the sisters he can get some type of satisfaction from that. And in his quest in doing so, he's acquired, he gets his little money, living expenses off of YouTube. And YouTube they have never banned none of his shit or flagged none of his shit because these motherfucking crackers love that type of shit. A weak nigga like that. By him stirring up, the masses of the brothers and sisters that are trying, to fight for our liberation and salvation. So, that shit doesn't even bother me. It probably bothers him more because it's starting to play out now. Nobody's not buying into that shit no more. And, when brother Shay Rhinefest Smith, I give the brother a lot of credit. I give him a lot of credit. Specifically for standing up, for the ex-offenders, for the brothers who have been incarcerated. Now, I explained that to y'all that you have a lot of people that haven't been incarcerated that they have an enormous amount of fear of being confined because they are afraid of, in their mind, of what might happen to them, as far as them losing their manhood, being tried and tested. See, out here you can yell and cry and run your mouth and sell all these tickets, and then dial 911. But see, in there there's no such thing as that. And when he went on that councilman that he's running for city council in Ward 20 in Chicago, once again, that was the only thing he could hold against him was bringing up some criminal past. Because somehow and see, that way he gets a lot of the white votes. This nigga, which is an ex-police, he gets the majority of the white votes, and some of you niggas will vote for him too. I wouldn't vote for him because if he's an ex-cop, he's not going to have any regard and compassion for the struggles of his brothers and sisters. Because I'm telling you, once again, you have a lot of head slaves and house niggas. And the ones that holler peace and we all can get along and we need to do this and we need to do that. The white man is not the devil and it's all our fault and all this bullshit. Those are the ones that have a stake in the system. Those are the ones that white supremacy has given them some trinkets and a few toys and a few incentives, for allowing us to continue to implement the system of racism, white supremacy, with your consent. Ain't that some shit? Same way on the plantation. I'll give you a bag of flour. If the master say I'll give you a bag of flour, and tell the man if you let me fuck your little daughter. She's about what, 7, 8? I'm 55. And then the father say, go ahead, I don't like the bitch anyway. She's a sassy little bitch. Go ahead and break her in, master. Teach her a lesson. You can have her. It's the same way today. It's the same way today. It's the same way today. Just like this Black Lives Matter shit, which is some bullshit. Excuse me. So, we still have those same, individuals in that same mindset today. Without, the only thing has changed is technology. The mindset basically is still the same. If you have any ideas, any suggestions or comments, please hit my my comment box. As always, subscribe. I try to come up with new ideas, new creations. I'm always looking for someone who has an expertise in technology, because I want to, put a little twist on my videos and whatnot. So anybody that's skilled in those areas, feel free to give me a call. I'm gonna talk about. I might do a live stream. I might live stream tomorrow where we'll talk about the ecumenical councils. We'll talk about at least the first 7: Nicene, Constantinople, Ephesus, Chalcedon, Constantinople 2 and 3, and Nicaea 2. For those who don't know what an ecumenical council is, it's the first one was in 325 AD. And this was when all the local priests and scribes and popes and clergy and politicians all had a summit where they took the Bible and they added on and took off what they wanted to for the purpose of social control. In other words, they wanted to format it so if the Africans, which are us, our ancestors, if they were able to read, or if they came to a point where they began to read and understand English, that when they read this particular book, that they would praise it, they would look at it as something divine, and they will follow every instruction in this book. And so they had various ecumenical councils where they had to continue to reformat, add on, and take off certain words, certain meanings, certain stories, make these stories appear to be believable. These make-believe stories, Noah and the boats and 2 of each animal and all this type of stuff. They kept formatting it and formatting it till it appeared to be believable to someone who could read basic English. And so that's how it was created, and that's one of the most books that have infected the minds of millions and millions and billions of our people. This man-made book, and there has a lot of us to this day, till we speak right now, into mental slavery, where you see the black artifacts that still are standing in Egypt, in Africa, these pyramids and all these tombs and all these bodies of our kings and queens. That book has taught us. The book teaches you to look at them as pagans and as demons, and to look into this book with the white Jesus. Because I don't care what you say, when you look in when you hear the word Jesus, a black man that's not the first thing that appears to you. Or when you hear that name, the first thing appears in your mind is a white man. That's why especially like you sisters have trouble treating black men like gods, because the white man is your God. Oh, Jesus, thank you, Jesus. Oh, my Jesus. Oh, Jesus, Jesus that. How can you yell for something that you've never seen? Holler for something that you don't even know. Most of you haven't even read the Bible. Most of you don't even, all you know is what you've heard somebody else say. And just being a spiritual nitwit getwit, because everybody else goes to church. Everybody else hoops and holler, because it's based on emotion. People breaking down, crying, and all this bullshit. That's what it's based on. Because you get, it's no, you get, nothing comes out of it. Nothing comes out of it. This one day we gonna be free in heaven shit. And most of our people are in that mindset right now. Oh, I ain't worrying about now, because when I die and go up in the sky, even though I'm be buried in the ground, or I'm gonna be cremated, but I'm going to the sky. Because see, this is what this bullshit teaches you. Just like the Quran, it teaches paradise up in the sky. It teaches you the same thing. And for those who do know the scriptures, those are the ones that become clergy, and they turn that into a hustle. Because if you can recite those scriptures very well, because I know a lot of them. I had an opportunity to be a minister. But I knew that I would be deceiving the people, selling them, a false reality, telling them they're going this place and that place, don't worry about this. But at the same time, nothing is going on. I'm still, for what they appear, for what they look at as being sinful. I guess that's what you call it. Because most of our pastors are considered sinful. If I'm not saying it incorrectly, because they'll get up and preach this hellified sermon and make you think there's going to be some changes when these doors open in an hour. But nothing has changed. Your behaviors doesn't change. I saw a video clip of a pastor with the robe on in church, a packed church. He was about to preach, but somebody caught him and filmed him looking at some strippers dropping it while it's hot on his phone. And he was into it. So I believe the congregation thought he may have been praying or looking at some scriptures that he was about to speak on, but he was on his phone, looking at, these sisters dropping it like it's hot, these strippers. And I say that to say that in spite of whether you know the book or not, if you know it very, very well and you can remember these scriptures and you're able to convey them, like if you take a Toastmasters class where you can put emphasis on certain words, put certain emotion in certain words, where people will react emotionally, where people will react, with excitement and start standing up, jumping up and down or whatever, you can get paid like that. You can get paid like that. It's called the holy hustle. And I see it done a lot. I'll just say that I see it done a lot. And there's something about a lot of these ministers and pastors that they can't get enough pussy, or they can't get enough dick. The men can't get enough dick, and the men can't get enough pussy. They have no dick control whatsoever. It's just like, they look at their dick like a golf club. Doesn't matter, what grass they on, long as it's holes that the balls can go in. So, I just wanted to touch on that, the ecumenical councils, so people can generally get an understanding on why, you have a lot of conscious people that have superseded, that way of thinking, that level of thinking, Because, all I try to do myself is just take my research, my information on all levels, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and share them, in hopes that someone will gravitate to them and grow from it, which a lot of you are. Like I always say, if I have a good amount of people, that we can grow together as a large family, that the information we can grow, we can build, and it will just spread, because we're all together. You never hear me, talk this big eyed little you shit. I'm not. You never hear me say I and y'all shit. I like for us to move as a unit, because strength is in numbers. Because we can start putting the lectures, getting back on the lecture circuit again, which will, I've been in touch with following Dr. Walter Williams, trying to get on board with Dr. Walter Williams and Brother Darren Muhammad in Baltimore, and trying to put some stuff together so the lecture circuit can come back to the District of Columbia in a strong form, without us having to wait for someone outside of DC to come in and give us information. Because we have a lot of knowledgeable, strong, conscious brothers and sisters in the District of Columbia. But most of our people are into sensationalism based on celebrity status. That if they don't see you on television, on the white man's fucking television, that you don't count. Just another example, just like your family and loved ones and close ones to you that tell you that they love you and you're so amazing, you mean so much to me and all this bullshit, but half of them don't, they don't even look at half of your the work that you do, the work that you put in, half the videos that you make. It's you all, it's people, and this is in all the majority of black families. People outside the family respect and revere and show more love and respect towards you and for you than people in your circle, in your immediate family. Just like Dr. Colin Muhammad. At first he was saying that, some family members still looked at him as Butch, or Harold Moore. But the world saw him as one of the greatest revolutionaries that has ever stepped foot on this planet. But some of his siblings looked at him as Butch. And, not until actually he made his transition is when he got the respect, the due respect that was so far overdue from his immediate family of who he really was. And it wasn't that. It was just the fact of, we hate ourselves so much. We can't see our siblings being great individuals because we don't feel like that inside. We don't see greatness in us. So we don't see greatness in people that resemble us. Which is sad. Very, very sad. But at some point, these things will, these things have to cease. This way of thinking. And that comes from, slavery, post-traumatic slave syndrome, and it comes from, reading these scriptures where, we're trained to disregard our ancestors, the people that we knew existed, the people that fought and died Doing the slaves in the Middle Passage for us to be here. And we would not even be here if it wasn't for them. That we've been trained through this book to disregard and say fuck them and put our belief and love and faith or whatever into something that the cracker invented. A cracker made imaginary deity. Very, very sad. Very, very sad. You know, but once again, we just have a lot of work to do. And right now, I'm going to close. And I'll be with you all tomorrow. We're going to get down with some other subjects tomorrow. You know. And so until then, my brothers and sisters, Hotep, Black Power.